Hey, what's going on, team? It's Ricky with Techbot Solutions. Hope that you guys are all having an amazing Sunday. And if you guys are tuning in for the first time, for those that are unfamiliar with how we do things here for our Sunday stock talks, well, normally market is open, the stock market is open Monday through Friday, but due to the observance of President's Day, which is tomorrow, the stock market will be closed. But one of the things that we do every single Sunday is we come together, we go live at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and we talk about the top stocks that you guys see value in. Due to the observance of President's Day tomorrow, the stock market will be closed. And although a lot of people are going to be taking the day off, I wanted to ask you guys for one thing. Obviously, only if you're part of our free Techbot Solutions group or of our Learn Plan Profit group. What I wanted to ask you is, I personally wanted to gather a list, and my goal is to gather about 20 to 50 stocks that on the 180-day chart offer a very consistent uptrend pattern. I'm trying to put something together when it comes down to our beginner traders, and instead of trying to day trade or invest in stocks that are continuously selling off and overall penny stocks, I want to do my part in making sure that we give them examples and lead by example about top stocks or on top stocks that are currently on the 180-day 4-hour chart showing signs of an uptrend. So all I wanted to ask you is, if you guys go on the 180-day 4-hour chart and you look at something like Microsoft, right? Overall, it's a very consistent uptrend pattern. If we look at something like Apple, it can be a stock, it could be an ETF, it could be an index, whatever it is. If you guys have something that you guys want to share, if you're part of the Learn Plan Profit group, all I ask you is to tag me. When it comes down to these stocks that you guys want to be sharing, if you're part of the Learn Plan Profit group, share it in the group alerts. If you're part of Techbot Solutions, just make sure that you share it in the watch list group. So all you have to do is, if possible, share it in the ticker call out format. And as long as you tag me, I will do my part in putting a list together and sharing that list once it's all collected. Of course, I'm going to share it for free. I'm probably just going to make a video, but we're getting a lot of people that are getting started in the stock market, and they're always asking the question, what stock should we trade? And of course, we're never here to tell people what to do, but I think that we can lead by example and share with them a selective number of stocks that are overall showing signs of an uptrend, right? Kind of like guiding them in the right direction and providing them a pool of stocks in which that that aren't penny stocks, or that the overall direction isn't continuously descending. Just getting them one step closer when it comes down to their overall goals, right? So let me know what you guys think about that. And again, all you guys have to do is tag me. Please, after the live stream, tag me, and I'll be gathering that list together. So, but yeah, let's go ahead and during this live stream, I wanted to break down whatever stock it is that you guys see value in. So all I ask you is, if you can post it in the ticker call out format, that would be the goal. So my 12-year-old son is the day trader. Wow, I appreciate that. So Hollywood Sky 7, what's going on? So I don't know your son's name, but I'm really happy. Hopefully, I don't know if he's watching right now, but overall, I'm happy to have them as a part of the team. And if there's anything that I can do to better assist, I hope that you know that I'm one direct message away. Especially if you're a part of our Learn Plan Profit group, you can just direct message me on Discord, and I'm there to assist you. So right here we have the Techbot's Garage channel sharing the ticker call out format. So as long as you guys post it in the ticker call out format, we'll make sure that we break it down for you. So here we go. We got Rick sharing SPCE. That was a very popular one. SPCE. Here we go. Overall, let's see, Virgin Atlantic. Okay, so I did hear about this. And for the past couple of days, obviously there's been a lot of hype. It gained 21%. This would have to be on the fundamental part, right? Okay. All right, so it broke 52-week high, and then it just gained huge momentum. So one of the things that I see very often with this is based off of the RSI and the MACD indicator, it definitely looks a little bit more on the overbought side. It looks like it's very relevant, and it's kind of experiencing the same type of demand. Not close, but do you guys, the example of like Tesla, when it just was getting so much exposure, so much press, so much news, and just so much demand, right? And it just continues to spike up the price. I'm not saying that it can't continue to increase in price. There could be a fundamental reason, which of course I would encourage you to look a little bit more into it. But for it to push up 21% in one day, especially so close to an earnings, which is again very, very important, you could just see with its recent volume and how it normally trades, it might be, I'm not saying it's being manipulated, but there might be a little bit more hype than not, based off of the current price points. It's not that you can't make money trading it as there's hype present or there's momentum present. It just means that it comes at a greater risk. Just like when Tesla went from, $980 per share down to $700 per share within 24 hours. You just don't want to get caught in the hype and then get left behind, right? So all I'm here to remind you is if the momentum and the pattern is there and you can keep up with that pace, great, all power to you. But if you understand that it's overbought and it begins to pull back, don't be surprised. Be prepared. Again, the best thing that you can do is to take time to inform yourself, not just about how you can make money, but also the risk involved and how to prepare when it comes down to risk management. But I'm really happy that you brought this one up, and I'll add it to my list. So here we go. Let's see. Happy Sunday. What's going on? Is that C. Ryan? What's up? All right. So we got a lot of people sharing their stocks, but none in the ticker call out format. I did see one, and before we even get into it, I wanted to talk about natural gas. Natural gas is up a little bit over 3%. Obviously, the market is closed tomorrow due to the observance of President's Day, but you can see where it closed at on Friday and where the futures market opened on Sunday. So as long as natural gas holds its price, which if you guys do remember last week, again, I trade natural gas a lot, so I'm very familiar with it. But last week, we saw a very similar push. When was it? So let me go ahead and go here. Here it goes. So last week, it hit highs of like the 188 to 189, and then it aggressively pulled back. So again, just a friendly little reminder that, yeah, it did have a really nice push up. So if you held UGAS over the weekend and it holds until Tuesday, you'll most likely be in the green. What I want to share with you is for others that are going to be asking about UGAS and DGAS, yes, if the price holds, you will be up on UGAS and down on DGAS, just like you guys all should know. I don't hold anything overnight just because I'm a day trader, and it doesn't mean that that's the right approach. It's just, the market's been a little bit more inconsistent, so that's the approach that I take. But one of the things that I want to share with you guys is that natural gas has been an overall descending pattern aggressively for the past 3 to 4 months. It's been trading below this SMA line, and it's been making lower lows and lower highs. As of right now, it's still trading below the SMA line, even with this very aggressive sell-off, so a very aggressive push-up. So don't think that one green day is the confirmation of a reversal. I, just like anyone else, think that natural gas has a lot of margin to recover. But I, just like everyone else, am not going to enter a position hoping that it does without any confirmation. So do your part as a trader. Make sure that you do your own due diligence in waiting for confirmation to allow that overall direction to be in your favor. So just want to make sure that we share that before we go on, to Tuesday and Wednesday when everyone thinks that, natural gas has to reverse. If you guys can see, again, a quick little reminder, it went from 188 all the way down to making 52-week lows at 1.75 in 24 hours. So just as much as it could go up, it could go down, right? If you understand the factors that influence natural gas. So please do your part in managing that risk and locking in those profits when it makes sense. So what's going on, Kareem? So we got ticker symbol LY, what is that? LYFT. So here we go. I'm going to break this down on the 180-day chart. I hope that's okay with you. So this is Lyft. Overall, it was a descending pattern. We could see that it was trading below the SMA line. It's been doing a lot of consolidation. And correct me if you think I'm wrong. But what I wanted to ask you is, Kareem, there's no right or wrong, right? It's just, sharing opinions. There's no question that after it made previous highs at right around $55, it recently began to pull back, right? So it's looking oversold. Look at the RSI, look at the MACD. Indicators are just to be used as a reference. You never want to solely rely on them, and that's after its earnings, right? So there's a fundamental reason on why it's pulling back. There could be a lot of panic sellers. Again, just like when something pushes up, the same thing can happen when something sells off. It has not found a support, but I'm really glad that you brought this to our attention because it is oversold. But just because something is oversold does not make it a good deal. And there's nothing wrong with that. It just means that we have to wait a little bit more for confirmation. So I'm going to set my alert here for potential reversal. And if it does begin to make higher highs, then that's the whole point of alerts, for us to set alerts when we want to be reminded when a specific stock or ETF is at a specific price point. But just as much as it could go up, it could go down as well. So I'm going to set my alert if this thing begins to make lower lows, as it 100% can. So don't think just because something is oversold that it cannot continue to sell off. Ask anybody that's traded in the market for even a couple months to a couple years. Buying the dip, like everyone loves to encourage you to do, especially with something that doesn't have the most perfect overall ascending uptrend pattern. It's just, you don't want to be hopeful thinking you bought at the very bottom. I'd rather be someone that allows this and gives this thing more time to confirm that this is a potential support and for it to actually indicate signs of a reversal. And all we have to do is give it a little bit more time. And let me know what you think about that. So I agree on that, bro. Confirmation. Oh, sweet. Super happy to hear that. I'm really happy that you brought this to my attention, though. I do see the potential, and I hope that you got that from my breakdown. So I will be looking to test a short in natural gas futures on the 26th. Okay, sweet. Let me know how that goes, Brad. Overall, on the 180-day chart, natural gas is a descending pattern. But again, it's very early. Most likely, it's going to continue to sell off. But overall, there could be a change of direction. So just be careful with that, of course. So SLP breakout. What's going on, Ethan? Let's go ahead and break that one down. Here we go. Alrighty. What was your breakdown? Okay. The only thing that I have to say about this is that this was an overall ascending uptrend pattern, and for the past 6-7 months, it's been almost showing signs of lower lows and lower highs. It hasn't been aggressively selling off, but enough to kind of worry you. I do agree that it was trading below the SMA line, and based off of, this recent push, this is the first time in a while that it's not making lower lows and lower highs anymore. We're actually making higher highs. So I do agree, based off of previous patterns, we do have that potential. But now look at the RSI, now look at the MACD. There is pullback potential. So don't think that it has to continue to ride the EMA line as a support. It could 100% come back and pull back. And like we've seen before, old resistance levels can become new support levels. So even if you give this a little bit more time and it does begin to pull back, there's nothing wrong with that, right? Because then you can get it for a better deal if it finds a support right around, $34, as it potentially can, right? So I'm going to set my alert here for the break below the EMA line. But just like you're saying, this thing can continue to uptrend. And if it, validates the EMA line as a potential support, then I want to be alerted, right? So if it does bounce and begins to make higher highs, just like you had in your breakdown, I'm going to set my reminder for 38, and then I'm also going to set my reminder for 40, which I think we can both agree is a pretty significant price point. So really do appreciate you sharing that with me. So I'm brand new to the stock market. Would some of the stocks be good to start with? What would some of the stocks be good to start with? And what are some good tips? So my biggest and best tip that I can share with you is there's not one piece of advice that I can give you that will help you get started, to start trading tomorrow. It takes time, right? And what I mean by that is I want to empower you to, let me, Venzu, if I were to ask you, Venzu, let's say a Ferrari 458, right? We know that it's worth common knowledge. We know that, a Ferrari 458 is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? Even a used one, it's worth $50,000. So if I were to ask you, due to common knowledge, hey, I will sell you a Ferrari 458 for $10,000. You'd be like, you don't have to be a genius to understand that, dude, if I buy this for $10,000 and it's a good working car, I can sell it for $100,000, $150,000. The margin is there. Due to your understanding, my goal for you is the same thing when it comes down to trading or investing, that you have the general knowledge of when to know when to buy and when to know that you can sell it for more and when to know how to manage your risk, the same way that you know that a Ferrari is worth more. So that might be a really poor example, but I think one of the best ways that someone can learn and to practice is through a thing called simulation or paper trading. You can search it up. I have the top video on YouTube, and all it does is it's a very similar platform like this, but it comes with yellow outlines and stuff like that. and it allows you to trade with fake money. And the really cool thing about that is as you're learning, not even just my videos, but whoever else you're watching on YouTube, you can take time and practice everything that you learn. So when it comes down to risk management, when it comes down to practicing when to buy a stock, when to sell a stock, when to cut losses, when to practice everything, right? Before putting and trading with real money, why not take time to actually, practice what you are learning online? And it comes at no risk. The only risk that it comes in is the time that you're investing into practicing what you're learning. So let me know what you think about that. But I really hope that gets you one step closer to your overall goal. But one of the things that I do want to leave you with is it's not going to be easy, right? And if you're going to start trading in the stock market to hope that it's easy, it's just most likely not going to be in your favor, right? If you're someone that's willing to invest the time, the hard work, and you're a problem solver, right? Then I think it's only a matter of time for you to, pick up and begin to gain traction. So, alrighty, sorry about that. Let me go ahead and look at CAG. Here we go. Okay, so CAG overall, very consistent kind of like horizontal pattern. Had a really nice push up and almost the same thing. It has a very consistent horizontal pattern. I personally don't like trading these. There's not a clear direction. Maybe something on the fundamental side that would make it more attractive, but I see a very consistent resistance here, right? So with this being a resistance based off of recent patterns and a very consistent support range here. So with that understanding, from 32 to 33.50. The margin is 4.15% for a perfect entry and a perfect exit. And let's be honest, there's no such thing as always a perfect trade. I'm not saying that this trade is not worth it. All I'm saying is, in my experience, it's much easier to make money when the direction is super clear. And right now, this thing just continues to consolidate. So if you want to play with the support and the resistance and you want to trade off of that, all power to you. I'm just saying that we don't know if this thing is going to continue to uptrend or continue to sell off, because all it continues to do is consolidate. So it makes it a little bit more difficult to understand which way it's heading, especially if you're maybe a little bit more on the newer side. So I'm not saying this is wrong. I'm just saying that I prefer when something is consistently either selling off or uptrending for me to better understand which way it's heading, right? Direction is definitely super important. So how much paper trading is best before trying the real thing? So if I were to ask you, that we get asked this question all the time, and how can I answer this? This is probably going to be a very, very bad example, but one of the things that I want to share with you is when you're practicing to learn how to drive, maybe you're practicing in a closed course, right? You're practicing by yourself. It's in a controlled environment, and you're practicing how to make right-hand turns, how to parallel park, all this stuff. When is it going to be the time that you're ready to drive in the streets with real people at real risk and real people's life at risk, right? It's when you've proven to yourself that you can drive, when you can parallel park, when you can drive safely and obey laws, right? The same thing when it comes down to trading. I hope that this analogy makes sense. It's when are you ready to trade with your own money? When you've proven to yourself that, you've earned it. I'm a big believer that, we don't deserve anything. And yeah, some things are picked up quicker by other people, but at the end of the day, it all requires still hard work, practice, and trial and error. So until it begins to make sense to you, and until you understand what it is that you are doing and how you're doing it, then I would make and take that step at your own pace. It doesn't matter if your friend started at the same time you did and he's starting to trade with your own money and maybe you're not ready yet. Again, that's the beautiful thing about the stock market and about every market out there. It's you get to scale at your own pace. And if you try to overstep, or if you try to scale too quick, you'll learn, right? You'll end up biting you in the butt, but some learn quicker than others. So all right, hopefully that was a good example. So end of the stage, what's going on? So we got driven intent, Tesla. Sweet. So let's go ahead and break that one down. We've been getting a lot of questions about Tesla. overall, I think it had a pretty great performance. I think it was on Thursday. It sold off to lows during the pre-market session of almost $700. I think it was $711, and it pushed up. This was one of the first times, it was almost showing signs of it having a resistance at 800, and then it pushed up to above 800. So that was a really strong push, and now we're trading again above the EMA line on the 180-day 4-hour chart. So I think next week we'll have to wait and see. I mean, this upcoming week, right? So we'll have to wait till Tuesday. What I'm trying to pay attention to is overall direction. So I wait for it. First, how many of you guys, I want to see a show of hands. Who out of everyone that's tuning in right now, first of all, Tesla is not for everyone. It's moving so quick right now that it does trade at a very high risk. But how many of you have been watching it? Not trading it, but how many of you have been paying attention to it? It's interesting, right? Regardless if you trade it or not, I think it's safe to say that it's interesting how quick Tesla has been trading. How crazy. There's nothing wrong with that. It's, you can see something with, without having the desire to hope to trade it. And what I wanted to share with you is when the market opens, how many of you guys have picked up on this? When the market opens almost every single day, what happens with Tesla? There's either a huge push as soon as the market opens or a huge sell-off, right? So we got Jalal at the club. Yeah, I don't know what he's saying, but okay. But like you guys see, right, as soon as the market opens, Tesla, there's nothing. So Tesla's mainstream right now. Like I don't know if that is to be something that is like offensive when it comes to Tesla. Tesla's very volatile right now, right? There's a lot of hype, but when Tesla gets going, it gets going. When Tesla starts to sell off, it sells off. And one of the things that I want to share with you is, as of right now, it looks like it's trying to build up that momentum again. It looks like it's trying to trade above the EMA line, and we'll have to wait until Tuesday and Wednesday to see if we actually begin to make higher highs. Everyone expected Tesla to drop right back down to $500 or to $400 per share. It sold off fairly quickly, right, to $700. And then it began to find a support. It began to consolidate. And now we could find a resistance again and then get rejected, or we could actually make higher highs. And that's why I have these alerts right here. I set my alert for the break below around like that 790 area, and I set my alert, I can even set a closer alert. As you guys can see, it's almost had this resistance right around like 820. So I'm excited to see. You don't have to trade it to watch it. You don't have to trade it to pay attention to it. I think that's the really cool thing, especially if you're in the learning phase when it comes down to trading in the stock market. People love to tell you what to trade. And if you ever have anyone telling you what to trade, that should be a huge red flag. You should never be told what to do. I'm always here to empower people to, if they find something interesting, to follow up with it and inform yourself a little bit more about it. There's nothing wrong with that, because the more informed you are, the more of a better informed, trade decision or investment decision in which you can make. And I think that's the best of both worlds. So overall, I want to follow up with Tesla when the market opens on Tuesday and to see one of two things. Is it going to get rejected at 820 like it has before and pull back down to the, low 700s? Or is this in the very beginning stage of this thing to begin to indicate signs of an uptrend? All we have to do is give this thing more time to allow the direction to become a little bit more clear. So I'm very, very excited. Let's go ahead and break down 4 more stocks, and then we'll definitely go from there. So do you think the market will crash? That's such a open one. Yeah, I've shared my opinion on that already. I think the more people are aware of a market crash, our market kind of corrects itself. Can the market crash? Of course, anything can happen. But definitely not my concern, as I focus on day trades and I don't hold anything overnight. So, all right, so we got the stock NIO. We had a really nice push up to highs of 565. One of the things that I want to share about this is that this is a penny stock. It is a lower cap stock, and it has not been making higher highs anymore. So it was showing signs of higher highs, but based off of recent patterns for the past month, after it hit highs of 565, it's been showing signs of a potential descending pattern, and most likely in the very early stages, now that it's trading below the SMA line, of this thing potentially, showing signs of a reversal and actually beginning to sell off. And because this is such a low cap stock, even with its performance on Friday, losing 6% in one day is huge. Please do your part as a trader to not put your money or to not trade or to not invest in anything that you are not informed on, right? If the overall direction is not in your favor and it begins, if it shows signs of a potential sell-off and has a lot of margin to give back, why trade it, right? If the direction is unclear, why not just give it more time for the direction to become more clear? It's the very simple things in life that people overcomplicate. I'll set my alert for what it's worth. Again, anything can happen. Any news can be released that can drive the price up or down. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing begins to sell off, especially as now that it's trading below the SMA line on the 180-day chart. So let's go ahead and break down the next one. So, all right. I already broke down SPCE, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was one of the first ones, Anthony. And you're not posting it in the ticker callout format, so you already got deleted. Here we go. So Alex, SPWR. Here we go. So SunPower, direction is not super clear after earnings. Had a pretty aggressive sell-off. It fell back down to the SMA line. It looks oversold, so I see why you're paying attention to it. We don't know how much more it can sell off, especially if trading at $8 and it was previously trading at $11. Ask yourself, that's a huge drop, right? Just imagine if you're trading it and holding it up here and then now it's all the way down at $8. Do your part as a trader to not hope that you enter and that it begins to pick up, and do your part as a trader to wait for confirmation, right? So I'm excited, right, that you brought this to my attention because it pulled back significantly, that it has a margin for a potential reversal. But just as much as it could reverse, it can continue to sell off. So I'm going to set my alert. I already set it at $9. I'm going to also set my alert for the break below 8, just so we can, stay alerted on either side. If it continues to sell off, then great. We don't have to take part of it. But if it begins to reverse, we can revisit SPWR and see if it actually begins to make higher highs and find a support and create that overall reversal. And all we have to do is simply give it more time. So let's see. So Ricky, I'm new to trading. How do you find good? Arvin, it just sounds like you have a lot more just research to do. So you're asking like, how do you make up of what a good stock is? That's all based off of preference. Like, I hate hearing people share that like, oh, this stock is the best stock to invest in and this is why. Everyone has their own opinion and we're all entitled to it, right? There's nothing wrong with that, but we're all wired in different ways. So please, when people share their opinions about stock, take it as a grain of salt, because just because they might see value in something, just because I might see value in something, doesn't make it a good investment or trade decision for you. And that's what you need to pick up on, right? There could be this restaurant that's your favorite and that's the best, but you can take your friend there and he's like, dude, I just don't like it. It's gross, right? There's nothing wrong with that. It's just you guys have different tastes. You guys are different. So I would really encourage you to take time to inform yourself, to build your eye for value, to be able to make sense of what makes a good trade and what doesn't. And that's, instead of asking the question, what should I trade? Better try to research and watch videos on how to determine what makes a good stock, what makes a bad stock, and stuff like that. So I hope that can at least encourage you to, dedicate a little bit more time to do your own due diligence. So of course, Arvin, I'm really excited. It's really cool to hear that you're just getting started. You look young and you have nothing but time. Enjoy the process. This is the most exciting part. It's not going to come easy, but I really hope that it's something that you want to pursue and can lead you to great things. So here we go. We have a lot of you guys sharing different stocks, but not in the ticker call out format. So I appreciate that. Thank you, Cole. That's cool. Yeah, and you trade in the Forex market. Thank you for stopping by. Different markets, right? But still the same goal is to make a profit, and we have each our own way of doing it. So PRTS. Here we go. Okay, I like this one. Overall, very consistent uptrend pattern. I don't like how low of a cap stock this is, but very low volume. Okay, I didn't know that. Overall, I see why, the overall very consistent uptrend pattern, the SMA line that acts as support, it wouldn't meet my criteria because I don't like how low of a cap stock and how low volume it has. I do like the pattern though. I respect the pattern. It looks like it had a previous resistance at $3. I'll set my alert there. It's been making higher highs, higher lows, which is all attractive. It's just now the idea that, it's approaching a resistance, it has very low volume, and I would really rather wait for higher highs. So yeah, it can continue to uptrend. It looks like the EMA line is a pretty solid indicator in the overall SMA line when it comes down to how PRTS trades. I would just really be careful with previous resistance levels, and with the low volume, it could make it a little bit more difficult getting in and getting out of a stock, regardless if it's for a profit or for a loss. So just something to be aware of. Let's go ahead and do two more. So I don't want to take too much of your guys' time. It's 6:34 right now. And all right, so we got David asking for MRK. Yeah, let's break that one down. So MRK, here we go. I appreciate you posting it in the ticker call out format. So I'm glad that you brought this to my attention. It came from previous highs at $92. Right now we're trading at $81 per share. If I were to ask you, for everyone that's tuning in right now, there's no right or wrong. I'm not here to judge, right? We're all here with an open mind. If you were to work for a year and save $10,000 that you were saving to invest in the stock market, would you, based off of recent patterns right now and how it's currently trading with MRK, would you invest $10,000 in MRK? Not yes or no, but why or why not? In my opinion, it is oversold. It is approaching previous support levels. But what is one thing that we don't know? We don't know if this is the support. We don't know if this is the bottom. It's been continuously making lower lows and lower highs. There's nothing wrong with MRK at $80, but we don't know if this is the bottom. It's a descending stock. So I'm really happy with the way that, if I'm not mistaken, it was Zach that shared this specific stock, and I see why. And like everyone is saying right now in the live chat, it needs confirmation. It needs confirmation. It needs to find a support. And I see why you're bringing this up. Looking at previous support levels, you could see that it's had a very common support at $81. I'm not here to like diminish that. I can see that. I can see that previous pattern. Patterns tend to repeat themselves. They don't 100% have to. So what is one simple thing that we can do to allow the opportunity to present itself is, what is one thing that MRK has been doing? It's been making lower lows and lower highs. So all we have to do is wait for higher highs and higher lows, and wait for an actual confirmation of a reversal to present itself. Just think about it. There's a lot of margin to recover from $82 to where it was before. It has 12%. Even if you capture 3 or 4% of that, that's more than enough, right? If you're someone that's just getting started, that's more than enough. Do your part as a trader to set yourself up for success. So now, set your alert on where you want to follow up with MRK, right? So if it breaks above $84, do you want to follow up with it, revisit it, and then reanalyze it and ask yourself, hey, is it making higher highs now, or is it still making lower highs? And then kind of just go from there, right? It's baby steps. So I'm really happy that you brought this to my attention, but I still think it's too early with MRK to determine if this is something that I want to get into right now, just because, again, it's been selling off for quite a bit. So what is going on, Ryan? So we got, I thought I broke down Microsoft already. All right, so we did talk about Microsoft in today's earlier video, and one of the things that I just want to remind you is that I really do like the very consistent uptrend pattern. What I want to share with you is it's not a good deal. right? It has been aggressively pushing up, especially for the past month, and I think that was due to earnings and it hitting 191 and all of that. It did pull back. The MACD, the RSI looks good. It looks like it's on its way to make new highs, and I do see that as well with the MACD, the RSI, and its consolidation that it's been having right around 185. I think that's all great. And I think, there is margin to make money, but it's not a good deal, right? So as long as you're aware that, if things do begin to go south, the margin of profit, which is about 4%, does not outweigh the margin of potential loss. So we covered this idea of risk to reward ratio within our Learn Plan Profit group. And this would just mean that there's more risk than there is reward. So if you're okay with that, it's Microsoft, obviously billion-dollar corporation. Just do your part in making sure that if things do begin to go south for Microsoft, it does have quite a bit of margin to give back. So don't necessarily hesitate to cut losses. At least I wouldn't, right? But I'm going to set my alert for both sides just in case it begins to formulate this reversal. I think it would be interesting to follow up with it and stay up to date with Microsoft and its performance. So I appreciate that. Thank you. All right. Let's see. Oh, $1 trillion market corp. It's market cap. I apologize. Yeah. Alrighty. So these are not the ones that. So it's obviously just little kids that have nothing better to do. Here we go. NDN. NDM, my bad. Oh. Alrighty. VICR. Okay, so VICR continuous uptrend pattern. It's for the past 4 or 5 months, it's been making higher highs and higher lows. I like that. It's not a good deal. It's overbought. You can tell by both indicators here and just by looking at previous price points. So it does have pullback potential, but it can make new highs. So going into it now is really hoping that it continues to make higher highs. I think I would feel more comfortable waiting for a pullback and allowing more of an opportunity to present itself instead of just kind of going with the flow. But it really depends on how it plays out. So yeah. Alrighty. Can we get one more good one? Let's get on, John. What's up? So I'll do UWT. And I'm going to end it here with UWT. And the reason why is we've been getting a lot of questions. We've been getting a lot of questions about /CL. It is extremely oversold. This is crude oil, the crude oil future, and UWT is its correlating ETN, right? So it does have a lot of upside margin. The inverse, just so you guys are all aware, is DWT. So when crude oil sells off, DWT goes up. So now the question is this just a pullback before it continues to uptrend again and before UWT and crude oil continue to sell off? Or is this in the very early stages of a reversal? And I think we just have to give it more time. I think it's too early to tell. I don't want to say that this is not higher highs, but if you zoom in a little bit closer, it had previous highs right around 846, and right now we're trading right around 855. So it's not the exact price point, but it's that general range where it is overbought enough that it can begin to pull back. I think the biggest indication or the biggest sign of a reversal is going to be that when it does pull back, how much is it? Pullbacks are inevitable, but it's asking the question, is this going to be a pullback or is this going to sell off and make lower lows? And I think that's what we would want to avoid. If it pulls back to the EMA line and then continues to make higher highs, that's a good sign for crude oil and for UWT. If it pulls back and then continues to sell off back to the low sevens, then that's really not a good sign. It's showing that crude oil is still weak and that the demand maybe just isn't there yet. So I'm very excited to see how we can follow up with crude oil. And all we have to do right now is take it day by day, right? If you want to day trade it and you see intraday opportunity, then that's up to you. But if you want to enter a swing trade, at least in my opinion, and just take it as that, is I would simply give it more time to allow the direction to become a little bit more clear. So I might have a job soon. These videos are great. Might save up for Learn, Plan, Profit. Of course, no rush. If you have any questions before enrolling, I want to make sure that I answer anything that I can for you before you make the decision, right? So if you guys want to check out Learn, Plan, Profit and what it has to offer, click the second link or third link down below. It says full A to Z video lesson library. If you like my videos on YouTube, then I think that you'll like the course. Of course, if you don't like my videos on YouTube and you don't find the way that I trade effective, then you probably won't like the course, and it's probably not going to be something that you want to watch every day. I'm one of the only people that trade live literally every single day, Monday through Friday, and of course, we're here to work with you whenever, and if you see value in what it is that we do. So Alex, glad I got LPP. Yeah, we're happy to work. We have a big saying. You guys know that we're all about like trying to empower you to be the best person that you can be. And I simply, regardless if it's myself or if it's someone else, I just want to make sure that we remind you and empower you to work with people who make you the best version of yourself. One of the things that at least I can give myself a pat in the back is with all of our videos, with all of the work that we do on social media and on YouTube, we're the biggest for a reason, right? We're the largest YouTube channel for those that day trade in the stock market. We're the largest Facebook group for those that day trade in the stock market. And I have to give it to one simple idea. And it's because we're so open-minded that we know that, we don't have to do well with every person out there, right? Every person is wired in a different way, and we're always here to empower you to only surround yourself with people that embrace for you to be the best person that you can be. So with that being said, we just want to make sure that if you see value in our work and the way that we do things, of course, we'd love to work with you. And if you don't, then I hope that my videos sparked your interest and that you can pursue a group of people that really empower you again to be the best person that you can be. So I think that's what it's all about. You want to surround yourself with people that uplift you and that, make you feel like you're doing something with your life. And I think that's what it's all about. When it comes down to everything it is that I do, day trading is what I do every single morning. But overall, a big picture, you guys know that if I'm not mistaken, I have to be, I think, one of the few people on at least YouTube and social media that I invest in real estate. I've invested in a total of 15 or 16 properties, and I think 12 of them have been in the past 12 months. So I'm really happy about that. I'm on track for 2020 to at least do one flip every single month. And it's not that I'm the best at everything it is that I do. I just try to be consistent in every area that I partake in. We're one of the youngest people here in Arizona that opened up a car dealership. And again, it's not that we're the best, it's just that we're working towards becoming as close to perfect as possible for our ideal clients. The same thing with our YouTube channel, the same thing with our day trading, the same thing with our real estate, and the same thing with the series of different businesses that we try to pursue. We're not here to try to be the best and the best for everyone. We're just here to be the best versions of ourselves and try to empower people to do the same. So I really hope that I earned your thumbs up in this video. Again, if you guys want to work with us a little bit on a closer basis, that's going to be that second link down below so you guys can watch me trade live every single day. And if there's anything that I can do to better assist you, don't forget to join our free Facebook group. That's the first or second link down below, and we're literally one link away. So I really do appreciate you guys' time. I wish you guys an amazing and blessed rest of your Sunday. I hope that you guys enjoy that All-Star game. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy, team.